Hey, what's up? Welcome back, guys, to my channel. It's Matt today, and I'm going to be sharing another video with you guys. And like always, I appreciate all the support I get, every subscriber, every like, every comment. Keep it coming, and I'll keep the content coming. So the topic I'm going to be discussing today is going to be something I've covered in the past. It's relatively unique to some people and new, but it's going to be about perfectionism. Perfectionism is basically the refusal to accept anything other than being perfect in any aspect of your life. And why this is such a bad mindset for you to follow is because you're in a constant state of ego and destructive pride. What I mean by that is when you're in perfectionism, you're not allowing yourself to make mistakes, take losses, understand and analyze the errors you make, and realize it's all a part of the building blocks that you're setting for yourself. You need to lose in order to grow mentally, physically, and spiritually. And I'll give you a few examples. Say you're in the gym. You try a new weight, you fail in front of a bunch of people, the entire gym, they're watching you because it's a new PR. You know, that's not really how it goes, but let's just say that happens. Or you're on a football team or anything that requires lifting, and everybody's watching you for the pump, they're pumping you up, and then you drop the weight. And now you're thinking, oh man, everybody thinks I'm a loser, I'm weak. That's because you're in a state of perfectionism. You have to hit that weight. You got to do it for everybody else. Everybody's watching you, and you got it all wrong. When you're constantly caring about what other people think of you, you'll never try new things and understand that when you're new to something, you're going to fail. But you have to fail in order to grow. And if you're not failing, that means you're not trying hard enough. You're not doing things that are challenging you. When you're in perfectionism, you won't understand that challenges are going to require failing. Because you're obviously new, you are not a master of your craft, but you're willing to learn and willing to accept. But in the state of, I have to be perfect or I won't, I'm not going to keep going with it, then you're ultimately going to fail at everything you try. And that's probably why a lot of people nowadays, you can see them go a week, a month, a year, and I'm not saying I'm not a victim of this, but it does happen a lot in our society. People try new things, they'll get on a workout plan, they'll get on a diet, like keto or fasting, and then they don't do it. They do it for like a day or a week, and then they just get tired of it, or they just think, hey, maybe I'm not doing it right, or it's something stops them. They're not doing it the perfect way in their eyes. So eventually they stop and they quit, and then they go back to their old ways. And why this is so destructive is because there's so much to learn from failure. You learn so many things for not only your state of mind, but for your physical being as well. Your standards change, your limitations change, because when you drop the idea of people judging you and you having to be perfect all the time, now you start allowing yourself to fail. You start allowing yourself to look like a fool in front of other people, and you start allowing yourself to understand that I'm not 100% in anything I do. You will never be perfect in anything you do. The closest way to reach perfection in your life is being at a constant state of contentness with you. Now, I'm not saying to be content you have to say I can't grow anymore. You can grow limitlessly. You have the power to grow. You have the mind to grow. There's no limitations to your growth. But in order to grow, you have to be content with the progress you've made currently, and understand that there is more progress to be done. But if you are never happy with what you are doing now, you will never be happy with what you get, if that makes sense. So there's this old ancient Japanese habit or technique that they call wabi-sabi. I'm not sure if I pronounced that right, but it's being or finding beauty in imperfections. And why that's so detrimental to you is because you're perfect because you have flaws. You are good at what you do because you're willing to try new things. You understand that you're going to fail. You're going to not be 100% at what you try in the first place. If you start out a month and you meet somebody who's been doing it for 10 years, eventually you'll get there. But you can't say, oh, he's better than me, there's not even a point in trying. If that's the mindset you walk in with everything, then you'll never get through life learning. You'll never get through life winning. You'll always be a loser. You'll quit immediately if you're not perfect at it. But you need to understand that even kings lose in chess. So when you practice wabi-sabi, you're basically respecting things as they are, and in this case, yourself. You're expecting you're a newcomer at this, whatever it is you're doing. It may be reading, writing, a new hobby, a new career, a new profession, a new diet, a new workout routine, whatever it is you're trying. You understand that there are going to be mistakes. It's trial and error. Boom, that's everything you're going to do in life. Trial and error. Some things you're going to be great at, some things you'll be good at, some things you will be absolutely terrible at, and you need to accept that. And when you practice this, you'll lower the pressure of being perfect, or you'll lower the pressure of holding yourself to such a high standard that it almost seems impossible to enjoy. You need to find peace in what you're doing. Because if you don't find peace in what you're doing, then ultimately you're just going to be stressed. It's going to bring you constant failure. It's going to bring pressure that people are judging you. You need to be great at it. You don't. You just need to love what you're doing and do it with passion. If you enjoy it, that's all you need to understand, that it is okay to do. You don't need to be great at it. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to love what you're doing and understand that I can make progress. You have to be content with where you're at. You have to enjoy what you're doing and enjoy the state of mind that you're in. You have to love what you have. Both things have their imperfections, and both things have their higher qualities. If you only focus on the imperfections of one thing and the higher qualities in something else, then you're never going to see the beauty in what you got and what you're working with. So you have to understand that there's always going to be a good and a bad, or a less and a more to what you're having in life. Your imperfections are what makes it special, because an iPhone doesn't have the capabilities of what some Androids have, and Androids don't have the capabilities of what some iPhones have. Trust me, I've had both. I prefer an Android, but people would probably crucify me for saying that. But yeah, you want to switch your mindset over to allowing yourself to make mistakes, because if you don't make mistakes, one, you won't grow. Two, you'll always be bitter at yourself and other people because you'll see them succeed and you're going to hate them because they're doing what you want to do, and you're too full of ego and pride to understand that they've put more time and effort and experience into their craft that you're willing to try and expert as well, but you can't see it. You're so full of yourself that you won't allow yourself to understand that there are people who are better at it than you because they put more time in it than you have, and you're starting out. Because you're stuck in a state of perfectionism, you're going to give up. You're going to say, well, maybe this isn't for me. Well, maybe it is, but you're not willing to put in the time and effort to try to see if it is. You can't become a master in a day or a week or a month. It may take years, it may take decades. You don't know unless you really commit yourself to that craft. Think of your life as a video game almost. You have certain attributes that you're wanting to upgrade. So let's say this. You put about 12 hours a week into something, which would accumulate to like about an hour and a half a day or two. Maybe my math's wrong. Almost 2 hours a day, right? You're going to slowly upgrade that attribute over time. But you put in an hour, you quit, and then you don't touch it for 3 days, it's going to go up and drop back. It's like basically taking a step forward, 10 steps back. You have to do it consistently to make progress and understand that it's not going to take just a big change to do it. It's small, continuous steps over time. Because if you do it over time, you lessen the chance you get burnt out. You keep your energy more, and you're going to enjoy it more because it's going to become a part of your daily life. It's not something you do once a week, then boom, you go back down, then you try it again, you're bad at it, then your confidence goes down. Now you're not wanting to do it anymore because ultimately you're not as good as you thought you were. It's not that you're not as good as you thought you were, it's because you're not putting consistent effort towards it. If you're so full of yourself and you want to be perfect all the time, you're not going to get that by just doing it once a week, or you're going to have big changes. You have to do it in small steps. It has to become a habitual routine with you. So you got to do it day by day, 5 days a week, 20 minutes a day. You can't do 2 days, 3 hours a week. It's going to not work out for you. Like I said, think of it as a video game with whatever you're doing. If you're trying to improve your life, so let's say you have a good day, you wake up, you stretch, you get your water, you get your multivitamins, you have a great breakfast, you go to work happy, it's a good day. You know, throughout the day you're upgrading your health, you're upgrading your mobility and agility because you stretched in the morning, you're upgrading your ability to refrain from eating, fatty junk food, so you're upgrading willpower. But let's say you have a bad day. You wake up, you slam coffee down first thing in the morning. Not only is that going to raise your cortisol, it's going to hurt your stomach because you're going to flush it out right away and not get the proper water you need. And then you go and you have a Pop-Tart because you need the sugar to wake up. Boom, you have 86% of added sugars that is part of your daily value. And you don't even really need added sugars. You don't stretch, you don't get water, you wake up, you're miserable, you go to work, you're bad, you're rude to people all day. All your attributes are going to drop. Your respect's going to go down, your health's going to go down, your fatigue is going to go up, your cortisol will raise. So just think of your life as a video game. You're wanting to upgrade the good stats, and you have to understand that it's trial and error. It's not going to always be an uphill climb. It's going to be down, up, down, up, down. Some days real high, some days real low. It's a progress. Trust yourself. Stop holding yourself to such perfect standards because there is no state of perfection in anybody. To reach a state of perfection, the closest you'll get is content and understanding you can make progress. Be content with the progress you've made and understand that, man, I can keep going. It's just an uphill battle from here. It's not going to be smooth sailing, but I'm going to make progress and I'm going to keep going. Just be happy with yourself and the progress that you've made. You've come a long way. Understand that. Understand that nobody is perfect. Nobody is judging you. And it's all your life. It's up to what you want to do. It's up to how you perceive things. And the challenges that you face are just going to make you a stronger and better minded person. So that's all for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed. If this video helped you out, don't be afraid to hit the subscribe button. Drop a like. Maybe drop a helpful comment. I'll be back next week with another video, and I hope you guys enjoy. Thank you, guys.